Hello, this is Greg Gals from Green Greg's coming to you on 17 March 22. Time on deck is 1100 hours Central Daylight Time. My friends, I'll bring you today special guest David Tice. David is producing a video on power grid defense, on the nature of our power grid. David is an investment manager, but he's also a producer, director of documentaries and other such things. And he really cares about our country's future, the state where we're at. And he understands that we are at grave danger because of where we're at, having a power grid that is not defended, a power grid that is vulnerable to failure from so many different modes. So he's doing something about it. They produced this video, and they're going to be looking for some help from us to kind of get the word out to make this thing come to pass. But the video is he says it's at the 2-yard line. They're about to go for the touchdown. So this thing is on the cusp. We're going to show the trailer here in a little bit. Many of you, everybody's been following my channel. Unless you're brand new, you know that I have been a big fan and a promoter of power grid defense because we're worried about the nature of what's to come to our country. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Bang the update notification bell and click all, because I bring you a lot of guests on power grid defense, the state of our world, and things that you need to know and do to be prepared, and things that you might can do in order to prevent some of these bad situations from taking place. And that's where this video fits today. It's a proposition my channel help you thrive, survive, and stay out of the hive. And we're definitely doing that with this video. So again, subscribe, bang the notification bell, and click all. And by the way, while you're at it, I've got a special right now running for long-term food storage. Go to prepwithgreg.com. You can get $150 off a 3-month supply of food that lasts 25 years. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's a deal to make you a winner, especially if the grid goes down. You're going to need something to keep you through. With all the international tensions we've got today, we're more likely of having a grid down. So you need to think about that. You also need to think we might even have a nuclear winter. That's where long-term food storage will come in special. Also, you can get a 4-week supply for $50. Go to prepwithgreg.com. It is with My Patriot Supply, and you can click on the logo above it. It takes you into simply the widest selection of long-term food storage in the industry, and they still have supplies, and believe it or not, they've not jacked their prices up recently like everybody else has done, and they will probably do so shortly. So get it while the getting's good. All right, David, what inspired you to do this video? And tell us where you're at with it, and then we'll look at the trailer here in a second.
Well, Greg, as you said, I believe we're on the 1-yard line here as far as getting this film sent to post-production. We have a soft launch scheduled in Austin, Texas, May 2nd, and then a hard launch in Las Vegas for our premiere July 15th at Freedom Fest. And we're really excited about this video. It's 55 minutes long. It alerts American citizens to the vulnerability of our power grid. It lays out how we got here. It lays out how we can fix it. And there's included a call to action to get individuals to, say, we're not going to take this anymore. We need our legislators to take action and require our utilities to harden our grid and provide protection for our very vulnerable power grid, and protects us from 4 major threats: physical attack, electromagnetic pulse attack, a cyber attack, as well as a geomagnetic disturbance, which is a solar flare. And all those things are very defensible. I'm trying to create not just a movie, but a movement where we can move forward and with confidence and security that our grid will be protected no matter what.
Amen. And a lot of people don't realize the gravity of this. They tell me, Greg, I'm living off grid. I'm good. I don't care. Well, if the grid goes down, you got to worry about the nuclear power plants cooking off. Even if the reactors aren't a problem, you got to worry about the spent fuel rod pulls. And then you got to worry about all the zombies pouring out of the cities like fire ants out of a nest that just got kicked. And they're going to be looking for you to eat. They're going to be hungry. They'll be hunting long pork because all the other game will be long gone. So, and another thing to point out is right now, with the world tensions being where they're at, I don't think we've ever seen greater risk. We might find ourselves in warfare. Could be hit by a high altitude EMP, a hemp or even a cyber attack. I think the probabilities of all that have suddenly jumped dramatically. And even if we somehow manage to get through all this, the probability of the sun taking out our grid is deemed by NASA to be something on the order of 14% per decade. With a weakening of Earth's magnetic field, that might ought to be revised upwards. So this is a real reality, people. And David Tice has come here to try to get the attention of this country so we can get something done about it. He's trying to help create this movement. And, you know, I'm a participant in two different committees that are also working this. And David is an active participant in our committees. He's active in helping to get this thing out. And we're all looking forward to this video helping us do just that. We got to get the attention of the public, and you guys can help us with that. Now, with that said, I want to do a share, and we're going to look at his trailer here. He's got a nice website here, a grid down website. I will put a link in the show notes for this website. And let's see, I'm having some issues here to get moving this thing around. All right, so I'm going to scroll down here. And yeah, we don't get a second chance with this, guys. This is it. He's got a lot of good information in here in his website, guys. And you can see David Tice is the producer. You may remember and welcome back to the show, David. I've had David and Petrea, I hope I remember her name right, Patrick here. Both of these were in on a show here with me previously, many months ago, maybe a year ago. I don't know how long ago that was, when they were early in this development process. So let's take a look at this trailer here. We'll watch this first.
The electricity grid goes down back in the 1880s for the electricity. Knock out 1,000 transformers, and you'll wind up with massive social disruption.
Former energy official claims an attack on an American power grid was terrorism.
Every study I've heard has an anarchistic component that leads to rioting. It is almost inevitable.
Imagine what will happen in Atlanta if there's no food, no power, and no money, and no transportation. Only people with guns and the boldness to go and take what they need to survive will live.
It could literally end civilization as we know it.
Cyber attack, terrorism, even a massive solar flare. They're all capable of exposing the power grid as America's Achilles heel.
Of particular concern to me are people who believe it's God's will to destroy us.
Our electric power grids are as vulnerable to cyber attack as the thousands upon thousands of businesses, companies, government agencies that have already been hacked over the last few months. It's not a question of if, it's just a question of when.
We spend $800 billion on our military, and we're not willing to spend 50 to 100 billion to protect our society.
I can't think of another area in Homeland Security where the threat is greater and we've done less.
It's considered one of the gravest threats facing this nation, and most Americans probably never even heard of it until now.
All right, David, thank you for that. I will, toward the end of this video, walk you through a couple of other related websites and give you guys some resources for things that you can do. And David's going to be coming forth with a lot more of that himself. David, tell us where you want to go with this video. What's next?
All right. So one, I want all your viewers to watch it. And by the way, your viewers are very blessed to have, Greg as a, guiding light, for a lot of important issues. Greg is very prescient in how he sees the world, etc. We're, thankful for your patriotism and your courage, Greg. And so I'd say viewers need to go to our website, grid down, powerup.com, forward the link to your friends. We are moving forward, and we want congressmen, state legislators, mayors, city councilmen to be aware of this. This needs to be a movement. This is a national tragedy that we are not better protected. This is, frankly, unknown. And this is an awareness movement. As Greg said, I'm trying to turn this movie into a movement whereby akin to the Tea Party movement or Contract with America. And this is such a severe problem. We have, recorded and shown in this video, Secretary of DOE under Joe Biden currently, Jennifer Granholm, saying that our adversaries are currently inside the grid and can shut down the grid, at their own volition. We have Senator Angus King from Maine, who has said that this is a national emergency, that we need to take care of this. We have Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin talking about that he does not want to be sitting in the dark and saying that we've neglected to do something about this very fixable problem. So we have a mechanism by which you can go to our website, provide your home address, and have 8 pre-written emails sent to your state regulators, your U.S. congressmen, your 2 U.S. senators, your adjutant general for your National Guard, your chairman of your state utility commission, saying, let's get on this, let's fix this. So we Americans need to stand up and say, we're not going to take this anymore. Get your friends and associates, if you know influencers, who are on Instagram or movie stars or other important officials, make them aware of this and be passionate about this, and let's spread the word.
Very good. Build a movement. That is exactly what we got to do here. Make people aware, because a lot of people just don't get the gravity of how grave this is and how likely it is. They just don't see it. And in fact, we've got to worry about it happening right now with all the tensions in the world. This could happen any moment. We just hope that we've got time now to get this fixed. We may be in a race to make this happen, given the state of the world at the moment. It is not in a good place. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so let's talk about that, Greg. I mean, we have this Russian invasion of Ukraine. We've seen Vladimir Putin threaten any state or entity that provides too much help to the Ukrainians. We've had Vladimir Zelensky, implore to Congress and to Joe Biden to provide a no-fly zone and provide these MiG fighter jets. And yet we have Putin threatening nuclear war. And frankly, rather than doing a nuclear war, it's very likely that they could instead utilize an electromagnetic pulse, or they could shut down power because they are inside our transformers and our substations of our power grid, where they could essentially shut it down. That's been determined by various experts. And therefore, time is now, and citizens need to be aware of this. And frankly, citizens need to be thinking about their own preparedness. This is not an explicit objective of our movie, but it's really implicit in that people need to have some significant food supply. I noticed that, Greg, you're offering a great deal on food supply. If all our citizens have gardens and food supply, then that makes us less vulnerable. And frankly, there is risk in the next 60 days of Vladimir Putin potentially doing something. And we also have the threat of the Chinese, where the Chinese are standing shoulder to shoulder with the Russians, and they look at, the United States being their enemy, and China is likely to go after Taiwan, and therefore there are all kind of risks. Nobody knows for certain what's going to happen, but we need to be better prepared.
Amen to that. We need to try to fix the grid so that it lessens what we got to do to be prepared. But it would alleviate a lot of our problems should we have to deal with other matters if the grid is at least hardened, and if we can protect our nuclear power plants where they don't go into a troubled stage. Let me put it that way. I'll just be charitable about it. Yeah, each plant now, I get a lot of defenders of nuclear power. Yeah, any plant on by itself in an emergency where it's at risk by itself, we have a national infrastructure to take care of that business. But when we lose all of our infrastructure, we don't take care of that business. All the safeguards for those plants are off the table. And then you're running open loop, which means you've got big, massive problems. And there's just no way that we've got to secure those plants and keep them cool, to keep those spent fuel rod pools cool if the grid goes down. And that will be massive, massive problems in this nation. That and the problems we'll have with all the starving people. So there's not a pretty picture, and just being off grid and having, your own garden might not be sufficient if we let the grid go down, but we need to do that anyway. You need to prepare as much as you can. And, I also advise people to get seeds to plant a garden when they can and start growing. Right now's the time to get seeds. Everybody, you don't wait the last minute to try to figure out how to garden. Start now. This is springtime, perfect time. You can check out, I got links below the True Leaf Market also. But you need heirloom seeds where you can plant and get the same thing back. Non-GMO seeds, that's what they carry. So all that said, David, what you got on your website, is it currently on there for telling people how to contact the congressman? I've seen that before. You had those action links in a version you showed me before. Is that online right now?
I believe it is. We're in the state of flux building a new website. If it's not there
I didn't see
currently, it will be current in a week.
Okay.
And you'll be able to see our complete documentary in about 2 months. But if you're convinced enough about the vulnerability of the grid, you can send out your these 8 pre-written emails to your key regulators and legislators in the next week or so.
Yeah, I was looking for that on your website. You had it up previously. I've seen it before. That's a great feature to have. It makes it easy. You push a button and it takes care of a lot of those contacts for you. So I'm going to do a share again. We're going to look at your website, and we're going to look at some other related websites here that are all pushing the same kind of thing. So this is griddownpowerup.com. That's how you get here. And I'm just scrolling through here at the bottom.
So Greg, you might go to the blog section and look under the blog section and see contact your legislators.
Well, I see 3 buttons at the top. It's about the Mabee trailer and get the Mabee. So I think maybe
okay. So do you not see a blog section? Again, I apologize. We're in the state of flux of migrating to a different, website server.
I don't see it right now, so maybe you'll have it up. There's some buttons on the left, some social media buttons, or if I hover over them, nothing is happening right now. So I guess that you got a project under construction here. So everybody come back here within a few days. There's the trailer button, get the Mabee button. I explore those. I didn't see it, David. Don't mean it's not here. Okay, that just takes me a different part of the page here. So you've got 1 page up at the moment. So,
okay.
So this is still a work in progress, folks. Come back and check with it. At the bottom, we got privacy policy, grid down, C-suite network. Okay. All right, well, check back, guys. And in the meantime, there are some related organizations. There's a Secure the Grid coalition that David and I are both members of. And this organization has a lot of good information on here about power grid defense, EMP. It's just a lot of documentation in here. And I believe on the second page in here, there's agencies welcome. That's the welcome page. There's an education page. There is quite a few other things in here. So I will put links to all of these in those show notes. You can find stuff. Library. All right, and then there's also, well, this looks like Mike Mabee's site here in the library. It is. Took me to Mike Mabee's site. And Mike Mabee has got quite a library. There's a take action page on Secure the Grid. A lot of things you can do here for taking action. And here you can also send things like, I'm going to have a program with Colonel Tommy Waller. I believe it's next Tuesday. And we're going to talk about this secure the spent fuel at the nuclear power plants. That's going to be our topic. So we're getting into this. There's news. Let me step through a couple of other related sites. This is the site of Dr. Peter Vincent Pry, who I've had on my channel many times, and our organization there, the Emp Task Force on National and Homeland Security, for which I'm the Alabama State Director. And we've got quite a bit of good stuff in here. Again, it's got several other, we got resources, things you can come into here to get more information. And then this is a Command Sergeant Mike Mabee's website. He's filing FOIAs and things to make things happen. He's got contacts about taking action. A lot of information. Guys, you can educate yourself quite a bit just from these websites. And then if you just want to take political action, you want to contact and write free form letters, write them in your own words, come to my website here at freedomrestorationfoundation.org. We've got an organization now we started, freedomrestorationfoundation.org. It's a little broader in subject and context than just power grid, but you can see we do have an action alert on the power grid. So we are involved in this. We are interested in this from the Freedom Restoration Foundation. And you go here to the Action Center. So what's really good about this site, you go to the Action Center and it tells you once you get below the alerts, how to contact your congressman, make your voices count, how to track bills in Congress, how to track bills in your state legislative bodies, how to find your state legislators and for your state, how to find your U.S. congressman, how to find your U.S. senators. You have 2 senators and 1 congressman on Capitol Hill in Washington. It talks to you about sending emails, about a call-in, writing, what to write. So it tells you how to go about all this stuff, what to say on the telephone. And it gives you links to Congress. So you've got all the links, the phone numbers for the switchboards, how to get to all the people you need to reach. So this is another resource at your fingertips provided where you can go in and take action and make your voice heard. And it even tells you how to do it. Now this is if you want to take the initiative to write your own letters, and I encourage you to do that. But also go in and when checking on the website griddownpowerup.com, there will be a link on here real shortly where you can just go in and basically you push a button and it sends a whole bunch of emails out automatically. So that'll make it quick and easy for you to get the word out, which this is vital stuff, guys. I mean, there's things you can do. We can force this stuff to take place, but we've got to be heard. We can't let the legislatures hide behind the fact that they get so much campaign money from all these power grid companies that are fighting us. We got to turn it around on them, and we can do it because there's more of us than there is of them. So once we get heard, they can't ignore us. What do you think of that?
So let me talk to that for a second.
Go ahead.
Greg, is as you articulated very clearly, one of the problems has been our electric utilities, and there's a number of electric utilities that have done, a great job and have tried to do the best they can to harden and protect the grid. But unfortunately, it's been a little bit too small and too little too late. And therefore, we need to fight and make sure that there is regulation such that we can require that federal and state standards are such that we have military grade standards to harden the grid, that there are strict standards for cybersecurity requirements that will protect our grid. And so what we're doing is we are utilizing a pay it forward approach to distribution for this movie, where people can watch it for free from the generosity of people that came ahead of you. But then if you decide to pay it forward so somebody else can watch it, and so we expect to receive, significant proceeds if this takes off. 25% of all revenue will be going towards 501c3 organizations with a history of fighting for grid protection, and such as Tommy Waller's organization, such as, which is Frank Gaffney's organization, Peter Pry's organization, Tom Popik's organization, Hank Cooper's organization. And these are all citizen warriors that frankly have been underfunded in the past. But if we can give these gentlemen a budget such that they can hire people and they can be on top of issues and find out these rogue legislators and individuals inside the agencies that are obstructing progress, and get on them and get them to provide pressure on them, I think we can make a difference and make action happen.
Very good. What a lot of people don't realize is that our network of people has been run by volunteers, and we're spending our own. These things are expensive to do. To produce a video is an expensive proposition. A documentary such as the one Tice has brought us, and to run conferences is expensive. I ran 2 power grid defense conferences, and the last one put us about a little over 20 grand in the hole. I've seen conferences go in the hole a lot deeper, a lot worse than that. So, and of course, I've seen conferences that had good net surplus revenues in the end. That's how I started my Halo project. I had one conference that had a net surplus revenue. This last power grid defense conference I ran did not, and it really, you take in the shorts and you lose 20 grand, and you got to cover that personally. That's what happens. So, we got people out here who are really putting their own money on the line, putting it where their mouth is, and we're active. We keep doing these things. We push it because we know how urgent this is. We believe in what we're doing. That's why we do these things, guys. A lot of people don't understand what a lot of us have gone through and done to try to get this ball moved forward to get our country secure here. A lot of people totally miss that. So that is what's happening. So when you help a guy like David, you're really getting the word out there, and you're doing a lot to help our country. That's what we're here for. We're here to try to save our country and our civilization. Nothing less than that. It really boils down to that. So you want to say anything to that, David?
Well put, Greg. And you've been a real patriot warrior, putting on these conferences, talking about grid security for a long time, and getting people like Peter Pry on. And you've had a megaphone. We're just trying to make that megaphone bigger. And now, through the internet, through forwarding emails, through this pay it forward approach, one of the issues from this film is that we need to fight for federal regulation, we need to fight for state regulation, and we need to fight for community involvement. And we need to fight for individual municipalities to, get together with their city councilmen and mayors and try to protect their community. We show a couple examples in our film, which one is Rock Hill, South Carolina, which is the Lake Wiley project that Ambassador Hank Cooper, a real patriot who used to be a advisor to Ronald Reagan for his SDI program. And frankly, he believes that any federal or state initiative to fix this is, likely not to succeed, and believes that we need to fight this at the local level. And we are forming what we're calling the C-Suite Energy Security Council, which is an organization and an infrastructure by which we can, follow through this film and allow this movement to thrive, and allow city councilmen and mayors in cities across the country to be able to collaborate and figure out what they need to do, to be able to bring in vendors, to be able to have citizen warriors talk to legislators, to be able to figure out what legislation has worked in the past and where legislation failed, and where we can collaborate and curate the best ideas such that we can have actual results. And therefore, I'm really excited that this movement could be big and it could result in something similar to what we had with the Manhattan Project, where we truly developed the atomic bomb that allowed us to win World War II. We ended up bringing the best scientists together in Los Alamos, working for years to be able to create, the science and the invention required to bring down our adversaries.
Now, the good thing is we have the technology. We just got to get the will. And that's where the people come in. That's why it matters. There's more of us than there is of them. We got to overcome the resistance that exists in a lot of the industry. And that we can do. We just got to marshal our voices together. And starting a movement is the way to make it go. So hopefully this tool will be what lights the grass fire to get the grassroots movement burning and moving forward.
So let me talk to that point just a second, Greg. So people that watch this film initially can feel very negative and pessimistic and, like, woe is me, etc. So at the end of our film, we have a couple minutes where we say, we Americans have had our back to the wall before, and we've overcome, extreme obstacles. We ended up under Eisenhower, we created a national highway system. We ended up overcoming a economy that had racial segregation, and we had the civil rights movement and a 1 million man march, and we ended up overcoming, racial segregation. And so we ended up migrating our industrial base to an arsenal for democracy during World War II to create a war machine that ended up bringing down the Third Reich. So
but we did more than that. If you think, hey, David, if you think back to World War II, when we started World War II, we were a country of dirt roads and outhouses. A lot of, in rural America, a lot of people didn't even have power. And we stood up and we fought 2 world wars. We didn't just bring down we didn't, well, it was the Axis. We didn't just bring down Germany. We brought down Japan. We fought world wars on both sides of the world, and we prevailed. So we still could, we were nobody almost when we started, relatively speaking, but we stood up, we rolled up our sleeves, and we dug in and made it happen. If this country were determined, we could do such amazing things today. We have the tools, the technology, and the infrastructure way beyond what we had back then, but we just got to rekindle the willpower. That's where we got to wake people up and kindle the willpower. Even if we just got half the people in this country moving, it would be an unstoppable machine.
Very well articulated. So what I've tried to do with this film is to create positivity at the close, and the spirit of patriotism and a spirit of can-do attitude, and saying that, damn it, we're going to fix this, and America can't be stopped. And we're going to, this isn't that difficult. This is a bipartisan issue. This is not right versus left. We all want our kids and grandkids to thrive, and let's do this.
Amen. Amen. Well put. I think that's a good way to close the video right there. That's let's do this. Let's make it happen. And we can do it. It can be positive. People think I'm about gloom and doom because I tell them all the problems, but I always try to come back with a solution. And this is a solution. We can fix this. We can make it happen, but we can't twiddle our thumbs anymore. The time is not on our side if we sit back and do nothing. We got to stand up and get busy, roll the sleeves up and make it happen. So what's your closing words, David?
So my closing words are, as you said, let's make it happen, Americans. Failure is not an option. Go to our website, send your link, determine people who might be influencers who have lots of Instagram followers, etc. Make them aware, talk to your friends, be positive about this, and let's make this happen. And then go to our website in a couple days and put in your home address. A few clicks, emails will be sent to your legislators and regulators, and then let's follow through and let's make this movement happen.
Very good. David, you're a patriot. I appreciate what you do. I appreciate what you're bringing to the table, that you've spent your time and money to make this happen, that you care about this country. That's what matters. There's just so many people that only are caring about themselves. So I really appreciate that. You're leading the way here, and hopefully this will inspire a lot of people. This video will wake folks up. We got to get it out there into their attention span. So,
and so all your listeners, I mean, this is a great articulate explanation of where we are. You know, send this Greg Allison interview to all your contacts, you know, turn people on to Greg Allison. He's a real patriot, and let's get this done.
thank you for that. You know, there are channels out there where guys come on and say, well, if you're not on the side of the earth where the sun's not shining, you're not going to have a grid down if you get a solar mass ejection. Wrong answer. You will. In fact, that has happened on the dark side of the earth because it happens in the magnetic sphere of the earth. It's not where the sun's shining. In fact, Quebec hydro event occurred at like 2 o'clock in the morning in Quebec, where they were fried by a solar coronal mass ejection in 1989, a smaller one, thankfully. Guys, but that video got way more views than my videos get. There are tons of channels out there who will talk about stuff, and they'll get way more videos. You know, somebody mentioned Peter Pry the other day, just mentioned him and got 100,000 views. I had him on my channel and we got 2,000. So we got to get the word out. I'm bringing you, I'm an electrical engineer. I'm a rocket scientist. I've worked power grid defense for years. So what I bring you in this category, and the guest I bring you are second to none. I bring you the best guest in the industry on power grid defense. So let's get the grid fixed. And one way we can do it is to spread these videos. So help my channel grow and help us get this out, because that's what this is all about. We're trying to save our world, help you survive, thrive, and stay out of the hive. David, thank you very much. I really thank you for being here. Hopefully I can get you back again one day, and hopefully we'll be celebrating success of getting the grid hardened.
All right, sounds good. God bless everyone.
Thank you, David. Thank you very much. Take care, and Greg out.